All right, here we are. We are talking about attracting profit today on the podcast. And I would like to tell you in advance that this is the second time I have had to record this specific episode because the first time I did it, when we went to listen back to it, it disappeared. And this is life sometimes. Sometimes you just need to redo things, and you need to take it as a sign that the first one was your first shitty draft. And so you can show up better the second time. Why am I telling you that? Because sometimes I think we need to know a little behind the scenes, like, why is this so easy for everybody else, but it's difficult for me? It's difficult for everybody. We all have ups and downs, but you just got to keep getting back up. So today I'm talking about 5 surprising energy leaks. And as a friendly reminder, the way that I define profit, like attracting more profit into your life, is by its time, its energy, and its money. So time is not just having more time on your calendar. Time is actually feeling emotional freedom, time freedom. So you have to get out of time debt. So always feeling like there's never enough, right? So you can call it a time freedom if you want, but it's really this feeling and relationship that you have with time. Energy is the same thing. So we have our physical energy, we have our mental energy, emotional energy, spiritual energy. It's energetic freedom. It's getting out of energy debt. Okay. So not feeling like you're just like, there's never enough. So this is in abundance. Like, I have more than enough energy. And this goes way beyond just telling yourself some random affirmation. And money is the exact same way. So you may be listening to this, you may be self-employed, you might work for someone else, you may feel very lack around money, but time, money, and energy are all resources that we can actually create more of. And I know time is limited, right? But we can change our relationship to time. So the intention for attracting profit is to help you get out of your own damn way and to kind of reverse engineer how you want to feel. I see a lot of women doing this at home with their families and also in their work. So you might be a leader, you might have a team, you may be a team leader, you may be self-employed, you may be a domestic engineer. Whoever you are in the world, we're going to help you attract more profit. Okay. 5 surprising energy leaks. Number 1, ready? Not trusting people. I want you to think about trust in general. So if you're thinking about trust as a concept, there's a lot of trust, but every relationship is built on trust, okay? And at the core of every foundation, a core of every connection, every relationship, if trust is the foundation of that, and there's broken trust, and most likely it's because you have had trust issues with other people in your past, it's an opportunity for you to heal and grow. This shit will come up in any relationship you have. So I say this is a huge energy leak, as one of the surprising energy leaks, because most of the time when I'm working with people, it's because there's a lack of self-trust. They don't trust themselves to make the right decision. They don't trust themselves to follow through. They don't trust that they know how to lead other people. They don't trust themselves that they can parent, that they can show up in really big, emotionally uncomfortable conversations, that they can hold their own, that they can speak their truth. Once you repair and learn how to develop trust within yourself and other people, your relationships will improve. When your relationships improve, you will attract more time, money, energy. Number 2 of the 5 surprising energy leaks is believing you are broken. So if you've ever read the book, The Big Leap, he talks about I think it was one of the 4 upper limits. And one of them is feeling fundamentally flawed. And I see this all the time, especially when I'm talking to people about parenting, or I'm talking to women about making money. It's fascinating to watch and observe of like, I can't do that. I can't do that. Oh, my child can't do that. Oh, that's not possible. You have to observe the beliefs that you have about your possibility to achieve your actual desire. Because I believe if the desire is within you, the desire was meant for you. And if the desire is within you and the desire is meant for you, the only person getting in the way is, drum roll please, you. And if that person is getting in the way, it is your freaking responsibility to patch that energy leak. So believing that you are broken is keeping you broken. And a personal story that I have about this is really when I was diagnosed with my stage 4 cancer diagnosis 10 years ago. And I say but I don't even like to identify that it was mine. When my body had cancer 10 years ago, I remember having the belief that I was going to live. Like that was certainty in my bones. I was like, I am 100% determined to live. Now, is there a correlation with why I lived? I have no idea. And that's not the conversation I'm having. It's once I was out of a crisis state and I was like, I was in remission and I was good by people's standards, but I wanted more. I had to face this kind of belief that I am like broken now, or there's something wrong with my body. And I had to constantly clean up my mind and the stories that I was telling myself around like my body. Right? Like my body's not broken. My body is healing and my body is going to take time to heal. And so believing you are broken in any capacity or believing your children are broken, maybe because they've had a diagnosis or you're seeking a diagnosis, or maybe believing other people are broken is one of the biggest energy leaks. One of the 5 big energy leaks, because when we believe people are broken, we are always trying to figure out a way to fix them. And when you're trying to figure out a way to fix something, you are investing your time and your energy and your resources in the lack, right? You're literally trying to patch a broken hole instead of focusing your resources on how good can it get? How good can I feel? When your energy is focused on the future and not the past, think about that. When you're focused on the past chronically, there's a time and a place when we have to focus on that. But chronically, you're focused in the past, you're never going to be able to redirect your energy and attention and focus on the future. So number 2 is believing you are broken. Number 3, gaining, our value as a human tied to money. How much money you make, how much money you have, your wealth, all of that. We see it with people all the time talking about how much money they make and why they're so awesome and how many cars they have. And they have all these, sexy photos laying on it. But when you're tying your actual fundamental worth to a dollar amount or your bank account, when that money is gone or if something happens, you will not feel valuable as a human. And I see a lot of people, probably myself included. I think that this is one of those wounds that we need to really be very mindful of and align with constantly is just because you make more does not make you a better person. You can take that additional value and give back more, but it doesn't make you more worthy, if that makes sense. And so we have to stand in our power first. We have to value ourselves first as a human. And that is how we attract more, right? It's like become the person that you think you are going to be once you achieve that desired outcome. And you will see how that fundamentally changes the way you value yourself. And there's also like huge correlations with how much we will actually invest in ourselves and what we also think we are worthy of. And there are a lot of people who will invest in certain things, but they won't actually invest in the things that are going to create the change in their life. And it's wildly connected to worth and value. So it's a huge energy leak for people because if you are not looking at you as a person and thinking, I am valuable as a person beyond my roles, beyond my skills, like me as a person sitting in the room next to somebody else, like that is valuable enough, if you don't value yourself as a human, that is going to directly impact your time and your energy, and of course your money. Why? Because think about it. It's just that belief of like hustle. Like the harder I work, the more money I make. Sure. In what capacity, right? I like to do less better, and I've had to train my brain to do the same. I can make more money without working more hours. But you have to watch the beliefs, because if your life is showing you like this is not sustainable for me, it's not sustainable. And you have to look within in order to attract more of what you want and desire in your life. All right. Number 1, not trusting people or yourself. Number 2, believing you're broken. Number 3 is all about your value as a human and money and revenue. Number 4, oh, this one's good. 4 of 5 surprising energy leaks is hiring or surrounding yourself with people who you are trying to rescue. Interesting. Hiring or surrounding yourself with people you're trying to rescue. I often see this with women where they start to over-nurture and over-mother their team and the support that they hire. So let me give you a perfect example. If you have ever hired somebody to come in and clean in your home, and yet you are cleaning your home before that person comes in, that defeats the frickin' person. That defeats the purpose. If you've hired somebody and you are not actually allowing yourself to receive the support, and that person is struggling and they're a low performer, and you know you have to let them go, but you feel guilty and you're like, come on, we got this. And you're hanging on to them. You're doing that to rescue them. And so I often find that the women I attract are like really ambitious, or they have a lot on their plate. And oftentimes they'll say to me, I feel like I don't have the right people around me. I feel like I'm the one that holds everybody else together. And that's because we're leading from this like rescuer energy, and we're not actually learning to coach people. We're not learning to say, I will be here to motivate and inspire you and point you in the right direction, but it needs to be reciprocal, right? Like it needs to be that give and take relationship. You can't constantly surround yourself with people who you feel are like takers from you, because you will begin to feel energetically drained and you'll start to isolate yourself. And I see this a lot with women. So pay attention to that. Like, do you feel challenged around the people? Do you feel like your team, if you have a team or your support system, are people who are leading their own lives, who are challenging you and showing up as experts? Or do you feel like you are constantly trying to drag people across the finish line? You're constantly feeling let down by people. I mean, there's always going to be like give or take different types of people in your life. And this is why I love mentorship. This is why I love coaching. This is why I love community, because you may or may not have those people in your life, and that's okay. But try to find the people that will challenge you. Something as simple as like, you know, if it could be like when you're joining a gym and you're like, I love, you know, these types of people who are like here and they're like, you got this, and they're rooting you on. Or if you want to run a marathon, so you join like a running club or a running group, and you can see the people who are like not running experts, but they've been at it for a while and they're like, you got this. Oh my gosh, I remember when you were there. Like attitude is absolutely everything. And you need to be incredibly mindful of who you are surrounding yourself with, because energy leak wise, if you feel like people are constantly taking from you and there's nobody around you that's like, okay, I can see you need this support and I'm giving you that support, it's just going to suck the life out of you. Number 5, pretending that this journey is supposed to feel safe and cozy all the time. So I call this a surprising energy leak, because a lot of times when people are into personal development or professional development, or they want to grow in any capacity, what they're doing is they're circling around the situation, but they're not actually diving into the situation. So the second you dive into the situation, you are 100% getting emotionally uncomfortable. Your comfort zone, the little, you know, doesn't mean your comfort zone is your thrival zone. Your comfort zone is what you are willing to tolerate. And what you are willing to tolerate is kind of like your upper limit. And so as you grow, as you expand, your comfort zone is going to stretch and grow, and the capacity will also grow. But in order to do that, you're going to experience resistance. You're going to experience growing pains. And so when you tell yourself, I'm uncomfortable, I don't like this, this is something I'm not good at. Well, of course you're not good at it because it's new for you. So you have to lean in to the discomfort, put it in the reps, keep leaning in. And when you do that, you are going to see how this journey is not comfortable at all. You can have moments of rest. I encourage that. You're like, I'm going to take the big leap and then I'm going to rest and recover. I'm going to take the big leap and then I'm going to rest and recover. But if you're lying to yourself like, wow, this must be easier for everybody else, there's something wrong with me. Again, you're going back up to broken. I'm broken. There's something wrong with me. Why can't I get this? It's like a really core belief that a lot of people tell themselves when in reality, it's not easy. And that's the reason why some people achieve certain things and some people don't, is because if you tell yourself this is supposed to be easy, like, a walk in the park 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're not going to get anywhere. Now, ease is a different thing, right? So if I'm like, wow, this is not easy, but I can create ease in my life, that's a different energy and that's a different conversation. So today's kind of a quick podcast, 5 surprising energy leaks. Number 1, not trusting yourself or other people. Number 2, believing that you are fundamentally flawed or broken, or your children are broken, or your partner's broken, or, that you're just destined for shittiness. Number 3 is really tying your value to your bank accounts and realizing that you can have a healthy relationship with money. But it really has nothing to do with your value as a human. Number 4 is surrounding yourself with people that you're rescuing. I think a lot of people, especially women, gain their value from nurturing other people. So if your relationship is always a giving relationship to these people, even when you're hiring them, and there's no receiving, that's going to suck the life out of you eventually. And number 5, pretending that this journey is supposed to feel safe and cozy all the time. It's not. And when you start to lean into these energy leaks and realize, I can change these behaviors, I can heal these parts of myself, that is when we come back in alignment and we start to attract more profit, time, flexibility, and freedom, energy freedom, and financial abundance.